Hey guys, today I wanted to give you my experiences and my opinions of court. Now, just to give you a little background, I've recently attended two courts, two types of courts of the main legal system we have in the UK, the Magistrates Court and the Crown Court. So in this video I'm going to compare them and just sort of talk about some opinions I have of them, talk about what I saw, and just generally do a video about it. Now, I appreciate this is a very different kind of video to even the psychology videos I've done in the past, but there were just some interesting experiences, and I thought I'd share them. So that's what we're gonna do now. I first just want to give you a little bit of a background as to these two types of courts. So I attended Magistrates Court, and I've just come back from there today, just probably about 15 minutes ago. So that's most fresh in my mind. But what I'm going to be talking about most is Crown Court. And in case you're not familiar with the British legal system, those are the two main types of courts we're here in the UK. They hear the vast majority of offences that are committed. Now, there are other types of courts, such as the High Court and the Court of Appeal, but they only hear cases that are of particular significance to that particular court's function. So, Crown Court and Magistrates Court, what are the differences? Well, Magistrates Court is where an offender goes for their first court hearing after being arrested for an offence. Magistrates are not legally trained professionals. They're just members of the local community who can give up their time to arbitrate on legal cases. Now, because of that, a magistrate court has a legal advisor whose job it is to, legal advise and give background on the law. Now, what type of cases are heard at magistrate court? Well, today when I attended court, there was several drink driving offences, several counts of child neglect, and some other things were brought before the court. Everything has to go to Magistrate Court before it goes to Crown Court, and the magistrates are people who give authority on search warrants to be used by the police, and they also they're also the first stop for any offences. Now, they can hand down sentences of up to 6 months, or in some isolated cases a year, but it's mostly 6 months. Interestingly, the legal advisor when I went to court today informed me that if the youth is being tried, the magistrate's going to hand down sentences of up to 2 years in some cases. So in those cases, there's an additional year. In most legal proceedings in the UK are open to the public. You can go and sit in a public gallery and watch the case play out. I think that's the same pretty much anywhere in the Western world. So today I attended Magistrates Court, local court to me in my town, but it hears lots of cases for the local area, and we heard a case of a chef who was accused of dangerous driving. We heard a couple of assault cases and also child neglect case. Now, one interesting observation that I do want to make is on the charge sheet for the court information that they gave to all of us. A lot of offenders who are charged with assault are also charged with threatening behaviour that was part of that assault. Threats of violence, basically. I didn't think that was the case. I thought if you were charged with an assault, that was sort of encompassed within the assault charge. So that was definitely the first thing I learned. Another interesting observation is that the man accused, and I don't need to say that because obviously he wasn't convicted, he was accused. So the man accused of child neglect and child beating was actually I'm not sure if it was him, but one of the offenders, I think it might be one of them who was just on a straightforward assault charge. His phone went off in the court. Now that is referred to as contempt of court because it's slowing down the court process, and you can get a sentence just on the fact that you've been in contempt of court. But surprisingly to me, that man's phone going off, even though he was the defendant, wasn't dealt with very, very seriously. He was just told by his solicitor and the magistrate that he needed to turn his phone off. So that was an interesting observation. A big difference between the Magistrates Court and the Crown Court was just sort of how well organised it was. Weirdly, the Magistrates Court, which hears cases that aren't as serious, was better organised than the Crown Court. In the Crown Court, well, let me just say this. In the Crown Court, I heard 2 hearings, or I was going to hear 2 hearings. The first one where it was a hearing under the Proceeds of Crime Act, application for bail, which that's as much as I got to know about that particular hearing, because after waiting for a while, sat in the court for the proceedings to start, I was told that those particular proceedings aren't open to the public, and they're normally done in the judge's chambers, which so I was then told that I had to leave. I'm glad I did leave, because I then went to a case of far more substance, and maybe that's the wrong thing to say, but I think I gained far more from watching the hearing that I did watch than I would have gained from watching the bail application. The hearing that I ended up watching was under the it was an abusive process hearing, and essentially the defence guy was essentially arguing that the Crown had abused the court's process by and trying to get the trial stopped because the Crown hadn't disclosed information, and it was actually the trial. The defendant wasn't in the room because it wasn't a trial, but it was a hearing for a trial that was a case of a 14-year-old boy allegedly raping 3 12-year-old girls who were 12 at the time. Again, I do emphasise allegedly because I think that's important, but 14-year-old girl, 14-year-old boy allegedly raping two 12-year-old girls, and the crux of the defence's argument was that the account given by one of the young girls and the main witness was inconsistent in her videotaped interview with the police than what it was with a further statement she gave. Essentially, they said that she was inconsistent on even the most menial of details. They said that on her first interview, she'd said that there were two bunk beds in the room, but on her second interview, she said that was false. The defence for that alleged rapist also said that there'd been three attempts to hear this case, and the hearing that I was actually 2 years after the offence was alleged, and this had been the third judge that was part of this trial, because the other judges had stood down for one reason or another. Now this is the real thing that I want to talk about. That judge who was hearing that case, it was late into court, whereas the magistrates that we'd seen in the magistrate court, they were on time, but we were waiting for the solicitors. But in the Crown Court, where the case is far more serious, basically a case of an alleged rape, the judge was late, and he had to be collected by the usher from his chambers, and he remarked when he got into court that he'd only just been called up and told that he was going to take the case the previous evening, and he was the third judge to be on that case. The defence argued that when the victim had been called to give evidence in a previous trial in open court, she had refused to make any comment and just stayed mute, so it was impossible to cross-examine her. But it was just such, and maybe it was just a lucky day at the Magistrate Court, not such a lucky day at the Crown Court, but there was just such an organisation difference. Magistrate Court, which is less serious cases, or even as serious cases, because all cases go to the Magistrate Court first, but not at such a serious stage in the process. The Magistrate Court was far more organised than the Crown Court, and that was really my main observation. So just telling you guys about my experiences and giving some of my opinions. I'm not sure how valuable this video has been for people watching it, but it was just a nice way to document my experiences and give you my opinions. I do want to say once again that I didn't see any of these people that I've talked about get convicted, so therefore they're all technically innocent until proven guilty. I do want to make that perfectly clear. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would urge anyone who lives in the UK or anywhere where you can view open court to do it. It's a great experience to see how justice is done, or at least the legal process is done, because when I went to the hearing in Crown Court for abuse of process, there was very little emphasis on whether the offences had or hadn't been committed, because that was obviously that's to be decided at a trial in front of a jury, but there was very little emphasis on sort of the morality of the case, and more sort of petty if you're not involved legal arguments. And but yeah, anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. Sorry it was a little disorganised, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there while they were still fresh. Thank you for watching. If you'd like for more tech content or more psychology content, you can visit my website. It's down below at tom-rogers.com. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.